Tesla is gone. SpaceX is drifting. And Elon Musk just threatened to pull the plug on every US contract. Then, as Washington scrambled, he vanished behind closed doors with BRICS negotiators. No leaks, no press, just silence, until the shock hit. Starlink rerouted to India. Tesla's AI wired into China's state grid. Billions in assets. Gone. Pulled offshore, out of reach. Overnight, American leverage evaporated. The Pentagon called him a threat. The Treasury opened an investigation. Trump called him insane, but they're all asking the wrong question. This isn't rebellion. This isn't a tantrum. What if it's a breakaway? Because the richest man on Earth didn't just walk out of the room. He took the future with him. June 5, 2025. Musk goes live. One sentence cuts through the noise. If the US no longer values innovation, I will take it somewhere that does. It wasn't a threat. It was a verdict. 3 days earlier, Tesla had lost $150 billion in value. But what looked like a crash was the final chapter in something far more deliberate. Months in the making. Strategically executed. Tesla had already pulled out of federal EV programs. SpaceX had stopped syncing with the Pentagon. Starlink stopped showing up to satellite reviews. There were no announcements. No grandstanding. Just exit after exit. Quiet. Clean. Surgical. Until suddenly it was irreversible. Federal officials didn't see it coming. One senior DoD advisor off record. We didn't lose Elon. We pushed him out. And now, they can't even find the edges of his new empire. Starlink denied the Pentagon override access in Q1. The response from Washington was swift. $4 billion in military satellite contracts gone. Handed to Lockheed, Raytheon, Boeing. But while America closed its doors, others threw theirs open. India fast-tracked Starlink integration across 5 states. Brazil and South Africa initiated national rollout programs. Russia leaked procurement notes citing non-state LEO constellations with military-grade encryption, an unmistakable signal. Starlink hasn't left the battlefield. It's just no longer flying the US flag. And then came the next rupture, trade. After March's tariff escalation, Tesla cut ties with every federally funded EV corridor. Every grant, every shared project, gone. Instead, a $2.3 billion deal with Brazil. A national charging grid. Battery labs. Zero US oversight. Simultaneously, Tesla rerouted its entire supply chain. Out of US ports into South Africa and Malaysia. By Q2, Bloomberg reports, Tesla's exposure to US markets dropped 38%. That's not protest. That's escape velocity. A Tesla executive, speaking under anonymity, called it a firewall against political insanity. But the firewall doesn't stop at trade routes. It goes deeper. Into code. Into control. In May, China's Guangdong province approved Tesla's AutoBidder AI for use in municipal power balancing systems. No press release. No headlines. But it happened. A US-born energy algorithm, now embedded in the backbone of China's industrial power grid. No logos. No trace. And it slipped past US export rules, classified as non-vehicle commercial energy software. A loophole. Treasury is now scrambling to assess if it violated the Titan AI restrictions. But analysts aren't debating licenses anymore. They're asking something far more dangerous. What happens when US code becomes the control layer for a foreign state's power? And that might only be the prototype. In 2020, SpaceX was center stage in the Pentagon's defense modernization playbook. 5 years later, it's been cut out. And BRICS nations are racing to absorb everything it built. Brazil formally requested Starlink national coverage in May. South Africa listed it as a top-tier emergency communications candidate. India is now co-developing satellite interoperability standards, with Starlink as the foundation. These aren't trials. They're national infrastructure agreements, signed without a single nod from Washington. The same network that once served US intelligence is now being repurposed to connect and potentially defend nations outside US influence. The shift is so fast, it's outpacing diplomacy. And here's what terrifies the people watching from the Situation Room. None of it is state-sponsored. It's one man, one network, one command chain. There are no laws written for this. No playbook, no oversight. Because Elon Musk is no longer an American innovator. He's a sovereign actor, with satellites, with energy systems, with AI. And unlike governments, he doesn't need elections. He doesn't answer to courts. He doesn't even need permission. So the real question now isn't where he's going. It's who, if anyone, can stop him. Because Musk didn't just defect. He built something bigger. And the world is already living inside it. On May 29, 2025, something happened in Washington, but almost no one noticed. No press conference. No headline splash. Just a quiet, classified move. The US Treasury Department opened a review. Not of a weapon, not of a missile, but of software. Tesla software. Specifically Tesla's AI-powered energy platforms, AutoBidder and grid balancing tools. now humming inside utility systems in China, Brazil, and South Africa. On paper, just algorithms optimizing power. In reality, a potential Trojan horse. Because under America's newly revised 2025 export laws, those tools might qualify as dual-use technology. Civilian on the surface, strategic beneath. And if that's true, it means Elon Musk may have just handed foreign powers the most advanced US-developed AI energy infrastructure, outside the Pentagon's grasp. His lawyers are calm. They insist it's all commercially benign. But inside Treasury, the tone is different. According to Bloomberg and Reuters, this isn't just a routine check. It's a test case. The one that could set precedent for how America draws the line between trade and threat, between free enterprise and digital sovereignty. The question isn't just what Musk sold. It's what he enabled, and whether America still controls what it creates. And while regulators debated definitions behind closed doors, another shift was already underway, in full view. By June, Musk's companies had been quietly erased from the inner sanctums of US tech policy. Tesla, removed from the Federal EV Infrastructure Forum. XAI, dropped from the National AI Strategy Group. Who replaced him? Amazon, Microsoft, Anthropic. Safe bets. Loyal brands. A senior White House official told the Financial Times the real issue was alignment. That Musk's moves no longer aligned with US interests. But behind that word lies something bigger. Fear. Fear of a man whose satellites, cars, energy grids, and AI models now operate outside US command, and increasingly, without its permission. Weeks earlier, SpaceX had refused to give the Pentagon override access to Starlink during a high-level operation. Around the same time, Tesla inked a massive non-US regulated charging network deal in Brazil. Washington tried to warn him. Musk shrugged and posted, "If DC wants control, it can build its own infrastructure. We'll build where we're needed." This wasn't defiance. It was detachment, a clean break. A signal that the world's most powerful technologist no longer sees Washington as home base, but as one customer among many. And that signal has been heard, loudly. Germany, Japan, and Australia, three of America's closest allies, have since launched their own investigations. Into what exactly? Into whether they've become dependent on a man who answers to no flag. Starlink now underpins emergency communications, defense logistics, and national surveillance in all three nations. But there's a catch. There is no chain of command. No guarantee that Starlink will operate in a war zone. No button a government can press if Musk says no. And he has said no, over Gaza, over Crimea. The pattern is clear. If Elon Musk doesn't like your mission, he can flick a switch and make your network go dark. Still, none of these countries have banned Starlink. Why? Because no other system can match it. Starlink beats legacy networks on latency, on resilience, and on price. It is by every metric superior, which means allies don't have a real choice. They're buying reliability and gambling with sovereignty. But while the West worries, the East welcomes. In May 2025, China did something unthinkable to many US analysts. It greenlit Tesla to expand. Not just factories, not just cars, software, AI fleet management software nationwide. Tesla gained new land rights, regulatory exemptions, and a state-backed research lab in Hefei. China didn't just tolerate Musk. It empowered him. Gave him things even domestic companies like BYD can't get. Why? Because Beijing doesn't see Musk as an American. It sees him as an asset, a free agent, a strategic partner who moves fast, delivers tech, and asks no questions. And Musk? He didn't hesitate. While most American firms are retreating from China under tightening controls, Musk is digging in. Scaling up, making Tesla the only major US tech firm expanding inside China's industrial core. He isn't running from US policy. He's building around it. Tesla AI is now optimizing China's grid. Starlink is anchoring networks in South Africa, Brazil, and India beyond US oversight. XAI is training its next-gen models in the UAE. And SpaceX's 2025 launch manifest? 40% international. Meanwhile, Washington scrambles. Scrambles to replace him on panels, to audit what it once celebrated, to claw back some illusion of control. But it may be too late. The subsidy era is over. The leverage is gone. Musk isn't asking for permission anymore. He's not even looking back. And this moment, this fracture, isn't about one man. It's about what happens when a country loses its grip on the future, because the future stopped needing its approval. So now, ask yourself, has America just lost the last technologist it couldn't afford to lose? Or has Elon Musk just written the blueprint that every ambitious founder and foreign power will now try to follow? Either way, the breakup is final. So who gets custody of the future? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Like, subscribe, and stay sharp, because the age of national tech dominance may be ending. And the age of sovereign innovators? It's already here.